What's up, hockey fans? It's Tuesday night. It's 8 o'clock Eastern, 7
7
o'clock
o'clock Central. Don't you forget it. Did you miss us?
Forget.
Who missed us? I missed us.
I missed us. It's Tuesday night and we're back. It's been a couple of weeks. We let the draft marinate a little bit, let free agency open up here.
Yes, we did.
I said the curse word. I said draft. So, of course.
It's not a curse. It's not a curse word, man.
This draft was very cursed in so many ways.
Oh, was it? Oh, no.
It absolutely was. But
I was blessed.
We're here and we're rolling.
I was blessed, man. That's what it was.
You can shut up now.
I'm
gonna talk about something other than draft. How was your week?
No, that is the summer of Bedard, my friend. No, my week was good. It was good. 4th of July was good. How was your 4th?
You know what? It was really quiet. Surprisingly.
Very much the opposite of mine.
Yeah, it was middle of the week. I worked on the 4th and I worked on the 5th, so that I could have some more time off for later this month. My family's coming to town this weekend, so taking this Friday off so I can spend some more time with them.
There we go. Tell them I said hello.
Will do.
But
Mateo checking in, semi-closeted.
Yes, he is. Yes, this was established. This was established sometime last week on Twitter between him and I.
I noticed the name change there as well. He's been Minnesota Wild Talk for a while now. So Mateo, our semi-closeted Hawks fan. Let's be honest. You're not a Hawks fan. You're an Oliver Moore, Connor Bedard fan. If we're really splitting hairs here. I know you can't be an outright fan of the team, but you can be a fan of the players for sure.
He can be. He can do what he wants. Let him spread his wings and be free.
I'm not going to try and yuck his yum here or anything like that.
Wait, let's unpack that real quick. What the hell did you just say?
Have you never heard that one before?
No, I'm sorry. I'm not 85
Don't
years
yuck
old.
someone else's yum? You've never heard that?
No.
It's another way of saying let people enjoy things.
Why didn't you just say that?
Because don't yuck your yum sounds better. And let's not forget Frank Nazar too, because of course.
Frankie Nazar. Yes, sir. Oh, we will have plenty of prospect talk throughout the offseason because the offseason is here. Dan, also, to answer your question, my week was good. Screenshot. Hey, I will never let you forget that.
Gotta love City Life
Project. That just means he's going to be, a closeted fan of a team that starts to dominate you again, like they did in the 2010s.
Oh no!
Also,
leave it to Sound the Foghorn to invite the Soda Pod on their podcast right when you guys go live. Shoot. Well, is what it is. We didn't talk to Brett, so we're gonna have to coordinate that.
Are we always overlapping with them?
No, they pick and choose. They don't. One of the nice things about their podcast is they don't have a set schedule. They just record when they can, when they feel like it.
We'll just
make things more entertaining for their shows too, because then they have, sometimes they'll do 2 like in a 8-day span, and then they'll have other times where they'll take a week or 2 off. So
yeah, no, that makes sense.
Dynamic though. It's a good show, by the way. We should plug both of those shows. Sound the Foghorn and the Soda Pod for any Wild fans who may be tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm about to, believe it or not.
And now we have the Soda Pod account checking.
My God!
A trader.
There's a lot, man. Hey.
Normally we start the show ripping Joel, and now we're ripping one of our viewers here. So this is a noticeably different start to the show.
And to probably both of our chagrins, I'm about to plug Wisconsin.
I'm sorry, what?
You asked how my week was. 4th of July was good, 4th of July party, but the 4th of July party was on the 3rd, so I actually spent most of the 4th hungover. And then,
that tracks.
And then Thursday, went out to Milwaukee to go to Summerfest for the first time in my life.
There you go.
Solely to see our buddy Murph's band, our buddy Murph, my buddy Ian, Courtney, Sawyer, their band called Definitely Maybe. By the way, check them out on Spotify if you like pop punk. They are incredible, and they're incredible live. So I checked them out. Had a lot of spotted cow while doing so.
We got a Milwaukee
Shout out
now.
Milwaukee. Yeah.
This is the weirdest show. We're getting love for Wisconsin. We're getting love from Minnesota fans to the Hawks.
Man,
what is going on?
I love all of this. Also, Michelle, have a drink. Have another drink.
She's now apologizing. Don't apologize.
Sorry.
Michelle
Don't apologize. Don't apologize. Throw something at Dan. Like
she will apologize for apologizing.
I want to see something like just fly across your living room and hit you in the face and just like a pillow or something. Nothing harsh. Like no like knives.
I have 2 things of water here, plus my computer, plus this is the desk that she primarily uses. I just use it for the podcast.
So you're hijacking it for the podcast. I see.
Yeah.
Got it.
I am, because otherwise the internet signal isn't strong enough, and shoot, it's barely strong enough when I'm here. So
yeah, but hey, you know what?
She says, "Don't tempt me.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
For the
do it. Do it." Look, this intro is off the rails. Why is that? Because we are in the off season, Dan.
Yeah, we don't have a.
This is when the fun really begins.
We got a few things we want to talk about, but nothing too. Nothing too set in stone, and we can kind of have it be a bit more laid back than what we might normally go with in terms of the structure. We're always laid back, but in terms of the structure, a flow to the show.
Yeah.
We've got some topics we want to cover this offseason. We got a couple for tonight.
It's kind of the theme of how these will usually go. We'll give you some structure, but for the most part, we're just going to be shooting the shit during the offseason. Even more fun than what we did last offseason. We did similar stuff. I meant to tweet this out. I will tweet it out from our account later. I want to start seeing like all the mentions in Twitter, and maybe should we get on Threads?
Oh boy, that's a good question. Maybe we should.
Maybe we should. Either way,
at the very least, we should claim Pod Snipe Celly on Threads just in case.
Just in case, and also maybe just use the Facebook more, I guess, or whatever.
Our first question of the night: will Joel stop talking about Bedard? No,
absolutely not. Never. Not until he retires in 20 years or 25 years. Because
3, he's going to go hang him up and play golf.
Why would you
use the ELC to build his brand and then go play golf?
Here's the thing. Why would you, for one, put that evil on me? My boy Joey. Oh yeah, of course. Speaking of which, Goose Island, one of my favorite beers, one of the best Chicago beers. Hey, Goose Island, you wanna sponsor another podcast? I know you sponsor other podcasts.
I've toured their.
We'll talk.
Their facility before, and
same. Both actually. I've toured their microbrewery they have, or their little brew, like tap room. Sorry, that and their actual facility. Their actual facility is incredible.
It's so cool.
Yeah,
I'm all for a good brewery tour.
But anyway, I will tweet out / also probably you need to give me the login for the Facebook account. But anyway, I want to see.
You should be on as an admin already.
I'm not.
If not, we'll figure that out.
We'll figure that out. Either way, on the Facebook account and on the Twitter account, we're gonna tweet out to our loyal subjects, as we are seeing in the comments, and see what you guys want to talk about over the entire offseason. We have stuff planned, but we will gladly throw shit in there.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We're gonna do some prospect deep dives throughout our.
Yes, we are.
I mentioned it on our last show when we did the quick little post-draft wrap-up that I am not even considering Bedard a prospect with Chicago. Like he's already he's already in. Like he's not in your prospect pool. Your prospects are the guys on the way. Bedard is there from day one.
There was a question that came into one of my new favorite podcasts in Chicago, the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. One of their questions from one of the listeners was like, where does our take a shot every time Joel says Bedard? Well, there's one.
You'll be schlockered 10 minutes into the show.
And you'll be dead after the show's over. I'll gladly be a guest today. Absolutely, Joey.
We'll have you on.
Of course. We'll have plenty of guests, both in the industry and just for fun, too. What was I saying? They had a question about, where's the Hawks, prospect pipeline rank, which, again, obviously all those pipeline rankings kind of – I know they're professional opinions most of the time, but we were pretty much nearly officially ranked 5th or top 5 before this draft. And now it's legally Bedard is a prospect until September when he won't be anymore. But like,
I guess
he's not legally. We are number one because we have Bedard. Actually, take him out of it. I don't know, probably like 4 or 3.
Just shy of a year ago, Corey Pronman with the Athletic had the Blackhawks at 13. That was as of August. The Hockey Writers, I'm trying to get their page to load here. They had Chicago at top half, top 10. They had them at 10.
No.
Coming out of this draft,
if it was last summer, it probably makes sense that they shot up during the season because of the developments of the guys like a Korchinski, like a Del Mastro, like a Nazar got hurt, but Nolan Allen shot up in the rankings too. Like a bunch of again, this isn't our prospect episode. We'll get into it, but I wanted to throw it out there.
Let's get into something a little more
intro to
topical.
The offseason. Yeah.
Let's go with some NHL free agency winners and losers. We've already seen a couple bigger names on the move. We've also seen, for example, Timo Meier staying in New Jersey. New Jersey is going to be good next year, man.
Oh God, yeah.
That's
we were talking half the season about like, all right, like they're clearly the real deal, but are they truly ready? And they showed like they're up to the task. They'll really be up to the task next year because I mean, what's the turnover there? Nothing really even changed.
Yeah, the roster is going to be very similar. In fact, I think their only change is getting rid of Mackenzie Blackwood in net and running with the tandem of Vitek Vanacek and Akira Schmid for the season.
Okay, that's fine.
So that's going to be a solid tandem. And they have a lot of their guys locked up long term. They also went out, the Devils did, and got Tyler Toffoli. Like, what?
Yeah, right.
So
that was nuts.
Casually adding him into your top 6. Devils still need to get one more forward figured out. They've got about $5 million in space to do it. But they've got, as of right now, 11 forwards, 6D, 2 goalie figured out for next season. So they got to round out with a couple more guys, which maybe if they get a cheaper deal, and we'll tease this for later in the show, a couple other names that might be out there, but I could see them making a move for one of those bigger names that is still on the market.
Who'd you say?
New Jersey.
Oh yeah.
I think they could still be active with a couple of names that are floating around out there. A little surprised that we have not seen some of the Boston players. Jeremy Swayman is still a free agent. Bergeron is still a free agent. Have to wonder what is ultimately going to happen there. Krejci out in Boston as well for now. We'll see if they're eventually able to bring in some more guys.
They do got some additions, though. I mean, Milan Lucic is coming back home to Boston. Not like hometown, but you know what I mean. He wanted to going back to where, you know, his dance really started, which I found out today that he apparently the first team he actually like talked to like extensively was the Blackhawks.
Yeah, you mentioned this earlier that with the Blackhawks wanting to add some sandpaper to their roster,
and it turns out, yeah, they were actually. It was on, I think Lucic was on John Scott's podcast and mentioned that the Blackhawks actually were one of, if not the first team to like reach out to him once you were able to. And he had some pretty extensive conversations for a little bit with Kyle Davidson himself too. So ultimately though, he ended up, quote, following his heart, which I don't blame him. I mean, that's where, not to mention, I'm fine with it. We end up with Corey Perry instead, and I would much rather have Corey Perry for the sandpaper who, you know, can actually score goals and put up points. Lucic is sandpaper that doesn't really score anymore.
2 quick prospect comments to throw up here.
Marcel, the shell with shoes on, high on my list. I love the reference, by the way. He did not hang glide on a Dorito for anyone who gets that. But and then Yurov is such an underrated prospect because there's little film on him, seeing him in person at Dev Camp. Oh my God, he's so good.
Danila Yurov is going to be a problem. Like that's
a name I know.
that's my hope and prayer with the Wild here is that as Chicago has claimed the best prospect of probably the last 8 years, I would say.
Yes.
Like it's fair to call Bedard the best prospect since McDavid coming into his draft.
You said Bedard. Does Michelle take a shot for that, or is it only me?
You can do shots too. I'm not going to tell you not.
I didn't. Is it only if I say Bedard? But I'll take shots too. I mean,
well, see, but then you'll just say Bedard so that you can keep pouring shots.
Bedard. Happy Bedard to you.
But I met your mother. Apparently, it's 4 so far, and now 5.
Oh.
And Mateo was saying, yes, paying $4 million to fourth liners in free agency will do that for getting in Corey Perry to Chicago. Yeah.
Hey, I'll take it.
Gotta get to the floor somehow.
Gotta get to the floor, and quite frankly, I like, I like some of it. I mean, we briefly touched on us signing Corey Perry and Nick Foligno. Some sandpaper, some senior leadership. I'm fine with it. Obviously, the only real other free agent signing we got there was Ryan Donato, which I like. That's actually very sneaky good. Not like it's a long-term thing, but he's under contract for 2 years, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I like that because you can slot him in anywhere from top 6 to bottom 6, wherever the hell you want him.
Yeah, Donato is such a weird player because, like, you see the flashes of some really high-end skill at times.
Yeah.
But the consistency is not there. And whether he was with Boston or Minnesota or San Jose, like, he never really had a consistent spot in the lineup and never really had a consistent role on a team or within an organization. Minnesota bounced him all over the place. San Jose as well, to a degree. Eventually kind of worked him into a middle 6 type of role. But again, is he the person who is going to be the goal scorer on the line? Is he supposed to be the setup guy? He probably should be hey, this is the person you want taking the majority of the shots on that line.
Yeah.
And with Chicago next year, he's going to have a chance to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. I don't know if he'll be on a line with Bedard if Bedard makes the team. I'm gonna keep Bedard's humbleness. It's so cute. The humbleness is so nice of him. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he will be. But at the same time, like, you're right. I mean, it's not like it's a long-term thing, but it's a fun signing. That's also practical, very good for the culture. Like, I'll take it. But in regards to winners and losers, it's so interesting. Like, nobody made, which I guess this is probably a bit of an attest to, like, how this free agency class was just pretty weak, all things considered.
It was.
I don't know. I mean, like, who do you I mean, if you want to, like, who do you think really was, in your opinion, was there a true winner? I mean, I can definitely think we can identify some, I guess, losers, teams that just didn't make moves whatsoever, but really probably should have.
One of the bigger winners for me, and I hope Isha's still watching, is the Vancouver Canucks. I really like what they did on their blue line with bringing in Carson Soucy and Ian Cole. That is a Canucks team that has struggled to keep defensive structure. Mm-hmm. Those are a couple of guys who are very tough to play against. They're physical players. I mean, you saw what Seattle did last year in the playoffs with Soucy. I mean, he was just anything that moved was a fair target.
Yeah.
I think he will be a very good fit for that system. And then Ian Cole, you know what you're getting with Ian Cole. You're getting somebody reliable to play third pairing, maybe second pairing minutes. He's going to play penalty kill for you. Not going to contribute power play, but he's not a guy that they need to come in and play power play. They've got that more or less figured out with who they have in the system. There's, I think maybe another one. I'd hear an argument for.
You can take mine,
Carolina.
Damn it! Yeah, you took mine.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
I'll let you talk Carolina here.
No, I was gonna say. I mean, I'm not gonna not that they did anything massive, but adding Michael Bunting to who can definitely slot into their top 6, right? That was pretty solid. He was, he's got more of a grinder style, right? So, but I mean, he was definitely one of the more sought after wingers on the market. They were able to land him a pretty good value contract too. I don't have the numbers up right now, but I do remember it being a pretty good deal. And then more so, what really leans me to calling them one of my winners is how good was Carolina's defense, and they made it even more elite by landing Dmitry Orlov.
Yes. So they added Orlov. They are running it back with Anderson and Ranta. A 2-year deal for Anderson, a 1-year deal for Ranta, which sucks for Pyotr Kochetkov, who played very, very well when he got called up this year. I might see a few Carolina games soon. Yeah, that's an interesting point.
That's true. You might have to become a Hurricanes fan.
I might. That's a little.
You're going to be part. You're going to be part of those jerks. Bunch of jerks.
Looking at losers here, I like Mateo's point here. Toronto was dumber than a brick till Bertuzzi. Going out and getting Bertuzzi was a good move. Toronto really a head scratcher for me.
We agree on this. We don't even have to spend that. I totally agree. Remember how I said teams that didn't do much that should have?
Yeah. Well, not only that, but a team that has for so long needed just so much defensive help across the board. That's been their biggest need for how long now? We've been saying this for 5-6 seasons.
Yeah. And when you think they added at the trade deadline last year, it was mostly depth defense, which fine. That's not that's what you need to make a deep playoff run, but it didn't work.
But the defense that you go out and get is John Klingberg, who is all offense and just a black hole defensively. His defensive numbers really could not be worse given the roles that he was playing.
Not to mention, hear me out when I say they clearly need something in that locker room. Some sort of true, we got John Tavares, I get it, but another veteran voice or something to maybe not change, but update the culture a little bit, right? Because obviously
Reeves will do that. I will say that. Reeves will do that.
Yeah. So, but my point leading to that, and Reeves will do that. Probably not by himself, but he will absolutely help out with that. And he's going to need to, because you need more of that. Someone and Reeves, I agree, will probably tell them they probably were sitting there in the locker room during the second round during the playoffs. Get your heads out of your asses. Stop feeling sorry for yourselves and get out there and, let's go. This happens. This is the playoffs. There are highs and lows. You need more of a presence for that. Reeves will do that. Tyler Bertuzzi, though, I've only heard very mediocre things about how he is in the locker room. I've heard he can kind of be a little bit of a.
I mean, Bertuzzi adds some of the toughness that they need. I don't know what he necessarily brings for a locker room side, but I'm looking at this going, that you needed to bolster your defense. You have Dmitry Orlov sitting right there, and instead you go out and you pay Tyler Bertuzzi roughly what Orlov got.
Right.
Just on an average cap hit base. Orlov on his deal Well, I guess maybe not. It is a little more than I thought. So Orlov is 7.75 mil, which might have been a little rich for Toronto, but that was also a 2-year term for Orlov.
That's the thing. They didn't have to be long-term to land the arguable, probably top defensive defenseman in the free agent class this year.
I don't think it's a stretch to say that he might have been the best defenseman overall in the free agent class.
Yeah.
But even if you were going to go out and get a guy like maybe Shane Gostisbehere, that to me is a better organizational fit to cover your needs.
And he went to Detroit, if I'm correct, right?
Yep. Yeah, he went to Detroit. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Not to mention they're still over the cap and they haven't signed their restricted free agent goalie. Yeah. Toronto's, I don't know what is going on with that team. And on top of all of this, they're also still trying to work out, are they going to do some sort of a long-term deal for Nylander?
Yeah.
At the end of the year, like after this season, and let me just run off some names here. These are the free agents Toronto is looking at for next offseason. Austin Matthews, William Nylander, Tyler Bertuzzi, who they did just sign, by the way. It's a 1-year deal for Bertuzzi.
I also forgot they added Max Domi in there, too.
Max Domi.
I'm jealous of that. I wanted him back really badly.
Sam Lafferty, Dylan Gambrell, TJ Brody, John Klingberg, Timothy Liljegren, restricted free agent, and then Mark Giordano, who is going to hang him up. But like, unless they really, really think that they can somehow move Matt Murray somewhere, like, because you're going to make more with Ilya Samsonov is going to make more money next season than Joseph Woll.
Oh, yeah.
Joseph Woll showed in the playoffs like he is ready to be at floor next season. He should be an NHL backup.
This was something I was listening to, too. You mentioned moving Matt Murray. That's kind of a move where you're going to have to, if you're going to try and move Matt Murray, you're going to have to give up something to sweeten that deal, like a prospect of some sort.
Yeah, and Toronto, you look at how they've
an up-and-coming kid or something.
Thrown first-round picks around over the last couple of years and had to move guys to try and make pieces work. Now, Toronto doesn't have a deep prospect pool. Like, it's not bad, but it's not great.
Right.
But you're not going to move, say, like Matty Nyes to go to get rid of Murray and offload him somewhere.
But you're going to have to.
But you're going to have to unload somebody.
Yeah, and that's what I guarantee you there's probably teams that are pitching that. If Toronto's calling someone up and saying, we'll give you Matt Murray, whatever GM, if I'm insert GM name here, I'm saying, Matty, add some Matty Nyes to that.
Because Toronto's not going to want to take any salary back on that deal either. Because it's a cap dump, so that you can sign beyond having the goaltending logjam.
And the reason I bring that up is because I've followed that type of trade with experience of the Brian Bickle move when we had to move that contract. And who did we have to give up to move him? Teuvo Teravainen. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. This is a very similar scenario. Not as much just because Bickle obviously had his health issues, but at the time we didn't know that.
Well, and even if it's not him, even if it's, say, like Nick Robertson that you're throwing in on that deal, because Nyes is a stud. Like, he's going to be really good.
Oh, yeah.
But even if you're moving Robertson on that deal, like, you're still going to have to figure out somebody to add in. I'm looking at this and wondering, does maybe a team like Chicago that's what I was
together
that type
today.
of a package? Does Arizona put together that type of a package, especially knowing that he already has some salary retained?
Yep.
They could take on the full cap hit coming from Toronto. It wouldn't be the full value of the contract, but it would be they can take exactly as is and not have to worry about Toronto retaining anything because Arizona's not trying to compete. They can take on some of that cap.
That's kind of where we come in. I mean, that's a big question here too. Are we going to make a trade for Matt Murray? That's the thing. If we're trading for Matt Murray or Arizona, like I'm wanting that quote in my example, Teuvo Teravainen type player in return. All right, cool. We'll take it on. Fine. Hand us him too. Sweeten that deal because we don't need him and you have to get rid of him.
Brad Treliving walked in and shot his own foot off by not doing necessary business before free
Is
agency.
this not what we? Yes, and is this not really kind of what we knew? Like, yes, we don't necessarily know. We'll probably get a better idea of how Kyle Dubas can do business with him being in Pittsburgh now. But isn't this kind of what we knew already? Like, it was never truly Dubas making the decisions. It was, but it kind of wasn't. There was always a little bit of a trickle down.
There's influence from elsewhere. He was ultimately the one making the decisions, but
my point is
there's a lot of pressure on him to make those decisions.
There should never be a trickle down. Let your GM do his job.
Yeah. And I think now what we're seeing as well is Tree Living is coming in and just sees the whole organization really has no clue. So it's throw everything together for next year only. See what you can do there. And they're gonna let some guys walk here. They just are. I can't see necessarily Matthews leaving at this point, but depending how things go next year, and if they have, say, for example, they don't get out of the first round next year, I would not be surprised at all if Matthews says, I'm going to walk into free agency and sign with the highest bidder. And you can make a run, but I'm going to at least test free agency.
Oh, absolutely.
That one wouldn't surprise me. And I almost wonder if Nylander is going to be in the same boat.
You know what? You kind of teased it because we're going to touch on something that will end up relating to that whole Nylander, what do we call this, saga has overcorrected. Yep. I'm happy to, yeah, it's like I was happy for their fans and such, but like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's a mess.
That organization is just.
Well, let's go from one messy organization to another here and talk about the Ottawa Senators, who twice now
here we go.
Lost the Alex DeBrincat trade. I knew you wanted to jump into this one.
Absolutely. I'll let you intro it, and I have plenty of thoughts.
So Alex DeBrincat was traded from the Ottawa Senators to the Detroit Red Wings. Detroit sends back Dominic Kubalik, a prospect defenseman, a conditional 2024 first-round pick, and a 2024 fourth-round pick. Ottawa, we said this at the time last year when they traded for DeBrincat and then went out and signed Claude Giroux in free agency.
Yep.
That whole deal was so weird.
Look,
for them to now have lost out on DeBrincat trades twice.
Yep.
It's just funny to me.
And not to mention, like, and the biggest thing was people were trying to say, we have a mutual, buddy who for the longest time continued to just beat the dead horse of how do you trade a cornerstone piece like DeBrincat? That's crap, this, that, and the other thing. Here's the thing. We love mess. Dorian got swirled by both Yzerman and Davidson. Yeah, exactly. Here's the thing. That trade for us, the Blackhawks got the 7th overall pick, which turned into what is turning, knock on wood, out to be way better than what a 7th overall pick would have been. Kevin Korchinski might be the real damn deal.
He is a very, very, very good player.
Yeah, so we got the 7th overall pick, a second. I believe it was one of our 4 seconds this year.
I think you're right. Let me check that while you're
and a 3rd from the Senators for DeBrincat. That's it. That's insane. And yeah, I love Alex DeBrincat. He's a great player, but quite frankly, his time in Ottawa proved Patrick Kane was his muse. He's a damn good goal scorer. He is a really good player, and I'm happy for DeBrincat that he gets to go home to his actual hometown team. That's awesome, and he's going to be good for them. But he's not the package that Davidson got for him. He's not that. And this shows right here, by the way, 2 former Blackhawks being traded for each other. Who Dominic Kubalik, if his slap shot doesn't hit the net, he's useless.
So one of the fourths that Chicago got this year
was that 4th I mentioned. Oh no, because they got the first, 2nd, 3rd. Yeah, never mind.
The 2nd round pick was actually for that was in the Zaitsev deal.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So, which also, by the way, includes a 4th-round pick in 2026. So that deal is still going to pay dividends years from now. But the 2nd-rounder from Ottawa was last year's
Okay.
2nd-round pick, which was Paul Ledwinski.
Yeah, and this is teasing our prospect shows, but he's turning out to be pretty solid too. We might see. So yeah, exactly. And then a year later, you just said it. The Senators got, and that conditional 1st-round pick is actually going to end up being like a mid to late 1st-round pick.
Yeah, probably.
And then a 4th, and Dominic Kubalik, and then a lower tier prospect.
Yeah.
I mean, Ottawa, what are you doing? Ryan Reynolds probably won that he didn't end up buying them.
Yeah, and Mateo's saying rather have Korchinski over Kubalik in a 1st. And knowing it's going to be a later 1st next year too.
Yeah, and the thing is,
and next year's draft class is going to be good.
Yeah,
it's not like 2023 good.
No.
Like this one was on paper. It looks like it could be a historically good draft.
Another 2003.
Yeah, another 2003 draft.
Right.
But while 2024 isn't going to get to that level, it's still going to be
a very good one, all things
considered. Better than average draft.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent up at the top of that draft, too.
Here's the thing, too. And I don't have the numbers in front of me for DeBrincat. Obviously, he's been a multi-time 40-goal scorer. I'm not questioning. He's a great kid, for one. And now, he's just a great player, great teammate, whatever, from all that I've heard. His AAV was, if I remember correctly, 775, I believe it was. I think
who's
DeBrincat's, because Detroit's. Oh, actually, wait, I have it up in front of me because Detroit signed him. That's it. 785 or 787 is what it was. So he got 7.8 mil for 4 years, and that's pretty good. But here's the thing: he's probably just. It's weird to see that contract go up and then have Nylander want close to 10.
I mean, yeah,
it's a little weird.
We were kind of talking about this one the other day too, that when you look at the forward market and especially the market for wingers, that market for DeBrincat, it puts him in a similar position to Matt Boldy. With his extension, it puts him similar to Kevin Fiala. It puts him less than Timo Meier, which is a little surprising to me that he was lower on the board than Meier in terms of how those contracts worked out. But also, he kind of set it up in a way that by signing a 4-year deal is what it was.
And he's 27 now. So
he's actually under what Cole Caulfield is making. So
DeBrincat is?
DeBrincat is.
Well,
that's a little surprising to me.
The thing is,
even though Caulfield's had longer term.
I hate saying it because I was and still am such a huge Alex DeBrincat fan. I loved that. That was one of the first times I think I ever was just I was watching the 2nd round of the draft and I was like, holy shit, we got Alex DeBrincat in the 2nd round. What? Mm-hmm. I loved him. I still love him. He's so fun to watch too, but you just said quite a few names I probably would rather have.
Interesting.
I actually would rather have Timo Meier. I think that's probably a no-brainer.
Over DeBrincat, yes.
Yeah,
I would agree.
That's probably a no-brainer, but I wanted to see if you'd be surprised by that one. Based on potential and maybe even age alone. How old is Cole Caulfield?
22.
Right. Based on the potential alone, I'd probably rather have Cole Caulfield.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's 2 right there. I don't know, man. Ottawa got totally hosed twice now. Boldy is a 30-30 player in his 2nd year, but exactly. I would, and actually, there's another one. I would rather have Matt Boldy than Alex DeBrincat now. That's why, all these, at the time when Davidson made the trade, the hatred for it, which there wasn't actually much, but you're always going to have the people going nuts.
It was more surprise than anything, I think.
It was, but we kind of, if you really paid actual attention in Chicago, not you, just in Chicago, you saw it coming while also potentially didn't at the same time, if that makes sense. It was like, look, you can build around him, especially now with a Connor Bedard, but no one knew that. No one knew it. No one knew.
Imagine those two on a line with DeBrincat's goal scoring and Bedard's setup.
DeBrincat's goal scoring with Patrick Kane, who is, like I always say, going to go down as the best U.S.-born player ever, until Matthews obviously hangs him up. But anyway, that's Patrick Kane. Connor Bedard, for all we probably think about, will end up being better than Patrick Kane. God, I hope.
The Wild fan in me hopes not.
Well,
the guy who knows how good it would be for the game.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So, yeah, you're right. Thinking of those two on the line, if he did what he did with Patrick Kane, think about if Bedard gets to – now it's 7. Think about if Bedard gets to 8. I'm just going to keep counting them now. Think about if he gets to at or even, dare I say, above a McDavid. Put DeBrincat on that line, oh, my God. But at the same time – it made sense a little bit, especially for what we got, the haul we got with the picks and such. Mm-hmm. And now seeing Davidson's vision a year later, not even winning the lottery, that's luck. Get out of the first overall pick of the whole thing, seeing Davidson's vision and plan come to fruition, starting out with that really truly kickstarted his big plan. He's a genius for what he's doing.
Oh, and let's talk about as well how fun DeBrincat
absolutely
is going to be next year.
Dude, DeBrincat's going to kill it in Detroit. He is going to have this newfound passion that he already had for the game anyway, but now you're playing for your hometown team. A team that's also, they've been in their rebuild for about 85 years at this point. They've been in their rebuild, but they're finally, I think this year you're going to see them come out of it. They did some decent things in free agency. They make a
signed Alex Lyon.
Signed Alex Lyon.
Sam is still watching, but they signed Alex Lyon.
We mentioned signing Shane Gostisbehere. That's a solid depth defensive. Defensive.
He'll play middle pairing there.
Absolutely. They already have their core ready there with Moritz Seider leading the pack.
Mm-hmm. Jake Walman is the name that's going to surprise, I think, a lot of people this year.
They're going to be. They underwhelmed last year. They definitely underperformed, but I think we're finally going to start we're going to see them. I'm going to go out on a big limb and say they won't be a New Jersey, but they'll be close. New Jersey killed it this year. They won't be that good.
My only thought is that looking at the playoff teams from last year, I have already said I think Boston is not going to make the playoffs next season. I have already gone on record saying that. I did say that, and I stand by it. You
are me? I said that the last 2 seasons.
I think Boston. Well, I mean, last year it was like, Boston's downfall has got to be coming somewhere here. Like, I think, especially as they're struggling to re-sign Bergeron and Krejci and figure out how they fit.
Dan, I want you to put up the barricades, because I'm going to die on that hill with you this year.
Yeah, there we go.
I don't think they make the playoffs either.
I think they're out. I think Buffalo in at that spot. To me, Buffalo is further along in their rebuild than Detroit. That's the team who, to me, is the natural fit to slide in.
Oh, absolutely.
Toronto, Tampa Bay, Florida, they're not going anywhere. Carolina, New Jersey, Rangers, not going anywhere. So for that last spot, you're looking, is it going to be the Islanders, the Penguins, the Capitals, or the Red Wings? I don't know that I see the Red Wings as the leaders of that group.
No.
They can't be for that last spot. But man, Mateo's saying prime to be a slightly better Buffalo. Conference Cup, good too. Yeah. Copp is a sneaky good signing.
Oh, yeah. And actually, I want to throw this in there. I said Detroit wouldn't be like a New Jersey, but they'd be under it, right? Maybe close. I think Buffalo is New Jersey of next year. You brought up Buffalo.
Right. Oh, I like this one. The drama gets to Toronto. They're out. Can you imagine if we head into the playoffs next season and neither Boston nor Toronto is in the playoffs? Like, what is the NHL going to do?
I mean, if that were the case, then I would absolutely toss some money on Detroit making the playoffs. Because if Toronto's out, Detroit's in.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's – yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, the free agent signings have been cool, but it's the trades have been cooler so far, which is usually how it goes. But
we're getting relatively close to the end of the show here. But before we do, we want to thank our sponsor, Betstamp. And the reason that we're going to bring up Betstamp here as well is because we're going to look at some odds here in a minute. But thank you to Betstamp for sponsoring Snipe Celly. They've been our sponsor for a couple months now. We love working with those guys. For those who, if you're just tuning in and you're not familiar with Betstamp, Betstamp is a free app that you can use to.
Did you say free?
I did say free.
It's free.
You can use it as an odds shopping tool to check with your sports books and find where are you going to get the best deal on a bet that you're going to make anyway. So you can go to the books and say, okay, I look at this one and Alex DeBrincat is minus 120 at this book to score a goal tonight, but he's plus 135 at this book. I'm going to place that bet at plus 135 and make more money when I cash in on DeBrincat scoring that goal. It is a fantastic tool. I've used it. Joel's used it. It has helped us with our own bet making that we've done.
It's got a mini social media aspect to it. You can go follow other bettors. You can follow me. You can follow us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, go download the app, signupexpert.com/podsnipecelly. That'll get you the free app.
Say that again.
Free.
Oh, no. I was going to say the link again. signupexpert.com/podsnipecelly.
Mm-hmm. You can start shopping the odds there. You can also use our link to sign up for these sports books as well.
Do that. Do that part.
They have a bunch. Yeah, do that part. Especially, as you're in states where betting is legal. Some sports books will be legal in some states, others won't. I'm thinking about HP, who is out driving truck all the time. And as he is passing through these states,
he's usually using my state for his betting.
That's true. That's true. He places a lot of bets when he's in Illinois.
Yep.
But you can do that. You can sign up through that link, signupexpert.com/podsnipecelly. Joel, let's go through some of these early 2024 Stanley Cup odds. I listed a few of the top favorites. I, of course, had to list Vegas in there as well. I was going to do the top 5, and then I was a little surprised to see Vegas was not in the top 5. They were at number 6.
Yep.
But
behind Toronto.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. I got to get that banner down here. Let's try this again.
All right. And where'd you get these? Where did these?
These are from DraftKings, so there may be a little variation.
I have some differing ones on my end.
Pretty close to this.
Pretty close, yeah. They're all within a plus, or they're all within about 100 or so,
roughly. But again, that's why you go and use a tool like Betstamp and find the best odds for when you're going to place these bets.
Yep. Maple Leafs and Hurt. The Maple Leafs are over plus 1,000.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Sports books always try to make money based on what the betting action does. So is there more bets on the Leafs that, hey, I'm going to put money on the Leafs at plus 1,500. I'm going to put money on the Leafs at plus 1,200. They get to that point of like, okay, where does the line stop? Where are we no longer seeing that action? And then kind of scaling it back. So that's one of the many ways they make money for those who aren't familiar with how sports books work.
Right.
So they'll shift the lines based on how people are betting. So that's why, even though a lot of us are going, this team has won one playoff series since 2004. Why are they the Cup favorites? Well, that's why they're the betting favorites, but they're not the maybe the industry favorites.
The logical favorites.
Yeah. I think if you're looking for a logical favorite, you're looking at the Hurricanes plus 900. You're looking Avalanche, Devils, Oilers plus 1,000. You're looking Golden Knights plus 1,200. Those are your next teams on the list.
Right.
One that they killed me this last year during the playoffs. I really thought Dallas was going to win the Cup last season.
You did. You were
going into the playoffs healthy, top 5 power play, top 5 penalty, like all of the logic was there. And Dallas made a decent run, and Rupe Hintz had a heck of a postseason. Was still the playoff points leader halfway through the Cup final. I still believe Dallas is going to make a deep run next year. I could see them being one of those final teams standing. I could see them winning it. I think that's a decent value bet there. But looking at these favorites here, also, by the way, I want to mention, of course, our teams: Minnesota Wild plus 3,000, Chicago Blackhawks. Joel, do you want to guess? You probably already saw. You probably already looked.
It's plus 10,000, I think. Right?
It's worse than that on my book. I'm seeing
that'd
plus
be
20,000.
You know what?
We ball.
We ball. I'm gonna put some money down on a who could I do? Give me a
Columbus Blue Jackets plus 15,000.
There it is. A Blackhawks Blue Jackets Stanley Cup final. That I'm gonna put some money down on. No, I'm joking, obviously.
Just to parlay those two.
Oh, I would probably be able to retire.
if it happened, you absolutely would.
Yeah. Yeah. Toronto thinks it's the last dance in reality. They're the Titanic. Oh, no.
And maybe not the Titanic, but maybe the submarine going to the Titanic to go check it out.
Yep. They're made of carbon fiber when they should have been made of titanium. Anyway.
Devils would have been I agree with this. Devils would have been a hot play before Toffoli. Getting Toffoli shot those odds up.
I'm on, I have.
They're about 1,600-ish. Immediately after the Cup. So that's already moved.
Right. They're, I have them at plus 1,100 on FanDuel.
We got it too soon for the Titanic.
Too soon. Yeah, I know. So I'm sorry.
Normally, I don't stoop to that level. Not something I would normally do, but
So you're sticking with Dallas? It's pretty good value play because they're at plus 1,600 on.
I think just from a pure value bet standpoint, I like Dallas. I think their path to the Cup.
Well, that's two. Hold on. There's two different things here.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your value bet? And then who? Maybe they are the same. Who's your value bet to win the Stanley Cup way too early? And then who's your way too early? Just I'm picking them, regardless.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick two teams today that I said I think these two teams will be in the Cup final, I did put money on Dallas when the lines opened, just because I wanted to get that bet in.
Yeah,
Carolina, and especially if Carolina is able to add Erik Karlsson, which
we didn't. That's one thing we didn't bring up. Which it sounds like it's between them and Pittsburgh.
Yep. Honestly, would love to see him in Pittsburgh with Letang.
I wouldn't.
You're running a power play with. If you really wanted to, you could go Crosby, Malkin, Letang, and Karlsson on your power play and pick whoever you want for your other forward on that line.
It's Carolina's time. Go to Carolina. Just don't go on the same line as Brent Burns. Keep them off separate lines because they both had career years without each other. So keep them on separate pairings.
Carolina, to me, feels almost at the level of where the Tampa Bay Lightning were a couple of years ago when they had their President's Trophy run and then had some guys get hurt and then lost in the first round of the Blue Jackets. It feels like they're so close, like they're on the cusp of what's it going to take to finally get them over the top and get them to a Cup. I do think the Canes will be in the Cup final next year. I don't know if I'm going to outright pick them to win, but I think that's something to consider.
I'm with you. My value bet, it actually is. It's decent value, and I believe it or not, it might be I might have a double answer. I was asking you to pick two teams. I might actually have the same one. Because their value right now, at least on FanDuel specifically, and this is where betstamp would come in, I could maybe get better odds here, but at plus 1,100 was my pick to win it this year. And I still think if they just get the right pieces, maybe at the trade deadline, I still think Edmonton can do it. It's hard for me to bet against McDavid and Draisaitl.
Edmonton is an interesting play. Colorado, to me, is still vulnerable with Landeskog out. And I do think they need to upgrade their backup goaltender. I don't really trust.
It's interesting that FanDuel has them as their top.
Yeah.
They're plus 800 on FanDuel, and they're the top one. It's interesting to me. But if I did have to switch things up, so Edmonton, I really do think I'll kind of go with you. I have them in the. I think I might have them too early in the Cup final.
At some point, it has to come together for McDavid, for Draisaitl. Michelle's making an appearance in the show.
I know. That's kind of my thing. Like, you do not have two of the top 5 players in the league without making it past the conference finals.
And Jesse chiming in saying Canes will be in the playoffs only because Brendan Lemieux just got added to the team. Yeah, there's your. It's because you want to add a fourth line guy that is just going to be a pest and clear the ice for everybody else. Lemieux is that guy. He'll bite you.
It's funny because their team pretty much stayed the same. If I had to pick a different value bet, I might actually go chalk. It's not chalk with betting, but at plus 1,300 odds, I'd toss some money on the Golden Knights going for a repeat.
Yeah, they are going to have a very similar looking team.
Yeah.
And especially now that they've got Eichel locked up.
Right. And now that's another year of him more experience, more, healthier after his surgery and everything like that. I mean, you know what? We have what do we got? Edmonton is prime for a spurt.
There has been a lot of talk about the Minnesota Wild trading Jared Spurgeon.
Wow.
Trade deadline? Question mark.
But the thing is
depending where the Wild are at.
Here's the deal. Your window is open too to win. I'm not sitting here saying you're going to contend for the Cup, but your window is very much open. Trading away he's your captain, right?
It's opening. Yeah, he is our captain.
Trading away your captain and arguably best defenseman. That's a bold move. Unless you guys are absolutely in the shitter at the trade deadline next year.
Knowing that the Wild are 15 mil over the cap next season, knowing, or I shouldn't say 15 mil over the cap, but 15 mil of dead cap.
Is last year your last? That's the last year of the Suter Parise contract. No. Oh my God!
2 more years of that 15 mil cap hit.
I'm gonna
and I want to throw this out there real quick too, just because so many Wild fans don't seem to get it, and I need to just explicitly say this.
Go ahead.
If the Wild did not buy out Parise and Suter, you are still paying them that money anyway. That cap hit is to clear the roster for other guys so that you can have some of your young guns come up into the system.
Could you guys have traded them?
There's no market for them. Not with those contracts.
At the time, I mean. Maybe like too soon.
At the time, no. They still would not have been able to because they had no movement clauses. So you had to buy them. That was the only way. Unless you really got them to waive, but then you're also retaining salary on that deal more than likely. So that's really just rip the Band-Aid off, get them out of the locker room because there were some locker room problems there too. But yes, that is my point is people don't understand that the Wild buying out Parise and Suter does not mean if they were still here, they'd still be getting paid. And believe it or not, they would actually be getting paid more money than what that cap hit for the dead cap equates to.
I'm going to put a little
And here's the other part: is the cap recapture would
would
really make things hard for them in the long run.
Yeah. I'm gonna not rub salt in your wound of this that Chicago Blackhawks make the playoffs this year. Just say, Jesse, I love it, but it's not gonna happen. we're picking in the top 10 again, most likely. Probably at 10 or 9, most likely is where I'm gonna guess. Wish you could
I think they can for sure get by Arizona. I think depending what happens with Winnipeg, if they end up blowing it up and moving on from Hellebuck and Scheifele.
What if Arizona at the trade deadline just gives up like 10 first-round picks for Austin Matthews?
They have so many first-round picks they could deal with. Can you imagine? They're like, okay, we're trading for him right now so that we can get that extra 8th year on the extension that we couldn't get in free agency.
Let's tease an off-season talking point of how many first-round picks would you be willing to give for Austin Matthews if you're Arizona?
If I'm Minnesota, give me ship out the next 4, maybe even as many firsts as you can move. Sounds
about right.
Go get them.
I didn't actually touch on it. I know we didn't. We will a little bit more. There is a landing in here that we didn't use, and that's fine. We'll use it next week. Maybe we'll have an update on it next week. But what was mentioned when we were talking about free agency is Kyle Davidson has gone out and said our biggest splashes are done. The heavy work is done. The Taylor Halls, the Folignos, the Corey Perrys, Ryan Donato, the heavy lifting is done. He did say that the biggest, he literally went out and said, look for us probably to end up signing maybe a right shot defenseman sooner or later.
Don't you go where I think you're going to go.
That's exactly where I am going with it.
You're going to go here.
Who is one of the better right shot defensemen that are still out there ready to be signed? Matthew Dumba. I am going to bring that to life verbally until we sign him. He is 27. 27.
I think he's 28.
Maybe he just turned 28 then. He's 28.
He is 28. Yeah.
He's 28. He is 28 years old. We could sign him for not too much. I mean, we'd got to get to the cap floor, right? I would give Matt Dumba a 3-year
you could even give him
I'd give him a 3-year 15. I'd give him a 3-year 15 mil contract. So
wow.
Five a year? For only 3 years? That's the problem, though. Davidson is not.
You got to look at what the other defensemen in this free agent class got to really put that number into perspective. Because that's just looking at what the market is.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think who had signed there, because I mean he's not going to get more than Orlov, but do you give him more in the range of Klingberg?
What did Klingberg get?
What did Klingberg get?
Yeah, what was he? What AAV? Give me the AAV. Don't give me his.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that.
Maybe
5 something.
All right, maybe 5. Well, actually, yes. Because Dumba is absolutely a better player than Klingberg.
Yeah, maybe.
From an offensive perspective, maybe not, but I don't care. He's a defenseman. Yeah. And with all the
I do think he's better defensively than Klingberg.
Not to mention with the defensive prospects that are going to need some playing time for us these next couple of years, Dumba, slide him in, have Dumba and Jones be your and Connor Murphy be your veteran dudes when bringing in Korchinski possibly as early as this coming season and so on. Maybe Wyatt Kaiser finds himself up there this year potentially.
I like Kaiser.
I really do too. Again, I'm just teasing our prospect show, which
those are going to be some fun shows.
Oh, yes, they are. Yeah. So all I'm saying is he has gone on record in specifying that he wants to probably sign a right shot defenseman. And who's still sitting out there, Dan? He's sitting out there.
Tad's saying he wouldn't mind if the Wild missed and then sold Foligno, Hartman, and Fleury at the deadline, especially with Kuznetsov Urov, Ugrin, and Volstead on the way. Yeah, I hear the argument there, especially like if you decide we're going to fold basically this next season, call up the young guns, give them a shot. Marco Rossi should be top 6 next season, period, full stop. I
agree.
Either like choose whether you're going to play him with Kaprizov or Boldy, but Rossi needs to be top 6 next year.
I think you play him with Kaprizov. This is also teasing
they were
our team's
so
episodes.
Good at Iowa.
I think
Rossi, though.
I know, but early on.
Early on, sure. I think ultimately there's a chance that the better
give him his
roster
confidence
fit is going to be with Boldy, just from a chemistry standpoint.
Well, and just my thinking too is give Rossi the DeBrincat on Kane's line treatment.
Yeah,
raise that confidence.
Playing with your star,
make him look even better than he might be. Right, like there you go.
Yeah, that's it. Last point I'm going to make here. I'm going to go back to Dumba for a second. Joel, what has my fantasy hockey team name been in our league for the last since we started the league? That's been my team name. What is my team?
The Dumba 55s.
The Dumba 55s.
Everybody can figure that out. If you can't figure that pun out,
because when Matt Dumba first came to Minnesota, he wore 55.
Yep.
And then they made him change it to 24
because they realized,
yeah, a little bit of an issue there.
Oh no, it looks like dumbass.
Yep. The NHL shop still will not let you buy a custom Dumba 55 jersey.
I mean,
it's dumb. I hate that because I wanted to get one.
Well, maybe that was by his request
the
too.
League told him. They were like, "Yeah, we're not going to let you wear 55. We realize what you did there. It's cute. It's
did he do it on purpose? Yeah. Did he?
If you know Matt Dumba, you know he did it on purpose.
I want him here more now.
He's such a good locker room guy. He's such a good community guy. And he's a good player who got absolutely screwed with his injury.
Oh, I know.
Like he shouldn't have had to fight, and he had to fight, and then got his shoulder messed up in the middle of his best season of his career.
Yep.
And has not been the same player since.
I remember that. That was
it sucks. I will change my fantasy hockey team name if he signs with Chicago. If he signs anywhere else, I'm good. I'm absolutely good if he signs anywhere else. And I would hate to see him go to Toronto, although wouldn't that be funny? Because what have we said about Toronto's defense? Dumba does not solve their issue. Don't you say this, Mateo. Don't you say it.
Damn right he would. He would fit so well.
We're going to end the show. I am physically ill.
Everyone watching, go Google it. Davidson said it at one of the press conferences right after, I believe it was right after they actually signed Ryan Donato, actually. He had a mini press conference, brought up Ryan Donato, and then was like, the heavy lifting's done. However, like, probably go out there, sign a right shot defenseman. Go Google it. That's damn near word for word for the most part. All I'm saying, man. In fact, I'm gonna Google it because I can't think of the other ones that are out there. There's a couple other ones that would be pretty solid too, but
I think that's probably a good place to put a wrap on things for now.
Oh yeah, we can.
Reminder to go check out BetStamp, signupexpert.com/pod Snipe Celly. We love BetStamp. They rock. Go make more money.
Absolutely.
BetStamp's the way to do it. Free app. Who doesn't love free stuff? And who doesn't
Say that
love
again?
more money?
It's free?
Free.
It's
free app. More money. Handle your business. He's Joel. I'm Dan. Enjoy your night, everybody.